Hi there, in this concluding part of the slightly lengthy bookcase series, I'm fitting the face frames, painting and installing, finally. That's coming up next. I'm putting Domino mortises on the upright face frames and using a little jig to speed things up and make it absolutely consistent. So I'm not going to show you the whole thing with this because it's pretty boring really, but what I do is, we fit the centre one to start with. I made a mistake on the first one. I actually put pins through the fluting here and it's really hard to fill that, so I'm just going to pin top and bottom and clamp the middle. It's all glued up, and then once that one is in, I can temporarily clamp the end ones on so we can cut these top and bottom, because they've really got to fit properly, because you don't want the sides overhanging or being shallow. So and then they're glued and dominoed in. I've got a little jig, of course, to do the dominoes, and then we do the same on the right hand side. So it's just, you know, more of the same basically. Just work that's got to be done. I'm using a long clamp to put a little pressure on the face frame joints before pinning the base in place. Then the bottom of the side, and repeating this along the top, making sure that the face frame sits flush with the carcass side. So we're getting there slowly but surely. This is the left-hand side of the pair of bookcases that go together. It's pretty much all done. I've left this side of the face frame just on dominoes for the moment. It's not fixed in place because I need to be able to take that off later on. And fairly obviously, this little piece of the face frame is what covers the gap between the two bookcases where they butt together, and that's got to fit. I don't mind having a very slight gap visible between the two tops, but what you don't want to happen is to have those two tops butted up against each other and for the face frame not to reach to cover the left-hand side of the right-hand bookcase. So I've left this loose for now. I'm going to butt them up together. I've got the central divider, the central face frame on the right-hand bookcase gluing up here. When that's done, we'll get them butted together just temporarily, make sure that that fits okay. I can clamp that onto this bookcase and then take it off this one, and then we can work out the distances for the top and bottom face frames on this bookcase from there. But that's what we'll do now. We'll get these two sort of roughly paired up against each other, so we get the depths right, so we get the distances between them right, and then we can press on getting the face frames on the right hand bookcase. So a little bit of levelling up on the bench, but all good, decently flat enough, and with the 12mm plywood packers between them, they butt up together really nicely, and this just gives a nice even inside lip on there, so that's all good. So I think we can clamp that up, then separate them. That'll give us a position to work to, and then the right hand side is relatively easy, relatively straightforward. There's a very slight sort of millimetre or so gap between them, but I'm fine with that. I'd rather that than have them butted up together tightly and not having these reach or something horrible like that. It gives you a little bit of extra built-in wiggle room, basically. And wiggle room, as we know, is what we need on an install. So I'm clamping the centre face frame to the left-hand side of the right-hand bookcase before splitting them apart, taking care not to knock it out of position. Then carefully trimming the top and bottom sections to fit and cutting domino mortises in the ends with my little jig. The dominoes on the left hand side of the face frame are just for alignment at the moment, so I'm putting them in very carefully with the absolute minimum of adhesive on it for now, just to get them fixed into the domino mortise, because I don't want any on the face, because they're only going to be glued up fully when it's actually fitted. But I need the left hand face frame in position to keep these in place. So I don't want them gluing together, so I'm just using the absolute minimum to start with, and then they'll be properly glued up later. So that's the glue up done. I've taken the end of this one off, put it on the other one for absolutely no reason other than that was how it was designed, so that's what I'll do. But yeah, we need to let the glue set, then I can whiz round with a little bit of squeezy filler, then everything's going to get a thorough sanding, and then we start painting. So yes, so far so good. So there we are, this is our little bookcase build, pretty much complete. This is likely to be the best you'll see of it, because of the nature of where they're going, and I can't discuss it. Very, very unlikely that I'll be able to take pictures or video on the job site during the installation, so I suspect this is about as good a beauty shot as you're going to get. It's come together really nicely, the paintwork's gone on fine, the fluted face frames have come out really well. It's very sort of traditional in look and feel. But it's come together very nicely. The shelves are in. The back is just held in place temporarily with tape. I'm going to fit the backs when I get there during the install, because this has got to go up. All of these three have got to go up a really twisty set of staircases to get into the apartment. So it's going to be easier if I can handle it, you know, by the central divider without the back on. The backs won't take but 2 minutes to fit when I'm there. And overall, it's been an interesting job to do, certainly been challenging, and I've certainly made my fair share of mistakes on this. I hope you've enjoyed the build. Not sure I've enjoyed it exactly, but the end result I think makes it worthwhile. If you have enjoyed the build, then give the video a thumbs up, and if you're interested in this kind of deep dive into these kind of jobs, then consider supporting me, supporting the channel through Patreon. There's a link down in the video description on how to do that. I want to thank all of my Patreon supporters for the help and support they give, because without their support, well, I wouldn't keep the lights on here. It's as simple as that. But that's it for this week, and that's it for this series on this particular project. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.